All right, tubers, getting to brush up on my typing skills, answering a few questions before the live stream. Welcome everybody to the last night. This is night 7 of the week-long live stream event. Hope everybody's having a great time. I saw we had quite a few people here. Let's see if we can get back up. We had 8 originally, back up to 6. We have quite a few questions already. My goodness. I kind of answered that one for Sonic Wang. Other than Alvin and the Chipmunks, are there any other things you're a big fan of? And I answered basically, yeah, I like the old TV shows like Bewitched and I Dream of Jeannie. Fun fact, I actually went to middle school with Elizabeth Montgomery, the one that played Samantha in Bewitched. I went to middle school with both of her grandkids, and she actually lived in the town right next to us where we were in upstate New York at that time. I actually saw her a couple of times in a supermarket called ShopRite. So any of you guys that are out there that are fans of the old TV show Bewitched, I had a pretty close connection to that family. She was really nice, by the way. Her grandson was really cool. He actually used to help me out when I used to get bullied. I forget his name was Justin Hyatt. Different last name, must have been on the mother's side. But her granddaughter was a total B word. I don't know why, but she was. She was a witch, honestly, literally. But I'm not going to get into all that. Oh, Nick Roberts says, I wish Jazz Jackrabbit 3 was never canceled. Me too. I loved all the Jazz Jackrabbit series. The first one, of course, for DOS, and then Jazz Jackrabbit 2 and all the other inclinations of that. The Holiday Hair 98, Holiday Hair 99, and of course, those were Windows-based. I think they were, let me readjust myself here. I think they were designed more for like Windows 95, 98. I don't think you could even run those on Windows 3.1. There was such a lapse between the time the first Jazz Jackrabbit and the second Jazz Jackrabbit were made that they pretty much moved away from DOS altogether. Dabbler's Buffet asks, how am I doing? I'm doing just fine, a little tired. Got up early again this morning. It's really weird. I've not been able to do my normal sleep schedule. Normally, I fall asleep. I go to bed around 10, fall asleep around 11, and then I sleep from 11 until about 8:39 the next day. Well, lately, I've been going to bed around 9 at night, actually falling asleep maybe 10 or 15 minutes later, so say around 9:15, and then getting up around 7 or 7:30. I actually like that better because it allows me to get more done throughout the day, although by this time at night, I'm starting to get really tired. Excuse me. Don Brody says, summer of 2000, there was a 42-inch plasma he found on display for 17 grand. Can't remember the brand. It was probably a Sony. I think most of them were either Sonys or Sharps back then. Yeah, I'm not surprised. That would be very early for a flat screen TV, 2000. Yeah, the chat window's messing up. Hang on a second, Jonathan. It should come back. Reviews for Noobs says webcam is blurry on the left. I don't actually see it, but what I'll do, if I can get it out, there we go. I'll go ahead and dust it. Hopefully that's a little better. It's possible. I get a lot of dust in this room for obvious reasons. Eric Brunhammer goes, I may fall asleep on you. I'm already in bed. Long day tomorrow. Yeah, you do have a long day tomorrow. I'm not going to get into details. I don't know if you'd want me to share that, but yeah, I definitely agree. Here it comes again. My cough has actually been a little bit better. I got through most of the day without having a coughing fit, but of course, now that it's nighttime and ready for the live stream, that coughing fit's going to be back with me. I want to read you guys something. I actually got a message posted to the video I did the live stream last night, Life and Stuff, where I talked about my Asperger's and my ADHD. And this is from Jeff. I don't know him personally, but I liked what he said. Listen carefully to this. This is important. He wrote, I would bet that the reason you need coffee so bad to function every day is a result of your ADHD. In other words, my attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. The stimulant effect from the caffeine actually has a calming effect on people with ADHD. It's the same reason that stimulant medications are often prescribed. Now, I did some research in the past, and I did find out that that is true. Whereas for most people, normal people, when they drink coffee, it'll make them hyper, like they'll want to keep going and going and going. For me, it does kind of have the opposite effect. The more coffee I drink, the more calm I actually feel. So, Jeff, I don't know who you are, but I'm glad you shared that. I'll go ahead and subscribe to his channel. We'll give a little plug to his channel. Hopefully he doesn't mind. This is the gentleman that shared those beautiful words with me. So if you guys get a chance, check out Jeff's channel and maybe give him some feedback saying thank you as well. I'm actually going to go ahead and save that. Don Brody wrote, I got a Panasonic Blu-ray player with remote for $8. That's a good deal. Definitely a good deal. And with the plethora of Blu-rays out there, even at Dollar Tree, believe it or not, lately our local Dollar Tree has actually had tons of Blu-rays available. So, you want something for movie night? There you go. Go to your local Dollar Tree and pick up a whole bunch of Blu-rays, DVDs. And they've actually been fairly recent titles. I mean, not like within the last couple of years, but maybe, late 2010 to maybe 2015. So a lot of movies most people still actually want to watch. There you go. Eric Brunhammer said the same thing. It's 100% true. He was told that when he was diagnosed with ADHD. I'm assuming ADHD as a kid. Paul King goes, Panasonic is typically pretty good stuff. I would agree with you, except for their early to mid 90s VCRs were total garbage. We bought two of them. I think one in 1992 and then one in 1994 and 1995 back in the day. And both of them didn't even last 3 years. And it was pretty much the same problem. It wasn't belts. It wasn't the drive motor. It was actually the controller boards would go bad on them. You put the tape in, it would spit it right out. Sometimes, other times you put the tape in and start playing it, and the speed would be off. Like everybody would start sounding like Alvin and the Chipmunks, or they would sound like Louis Armstrong. So yeah, other than that, I'd say they had a pretty good track record. I-386 goes, if I lived closer to a big city, I would be a cord cutter. I heard there's a lot of good money in that. It's funny you should mention that because it's been years since I went scrapping. In other words, going out on garbage day. And I actually did that the other day, and I came across a pile with a few LCD TVs, and sure enough, the cords were cut. And also there was a couple of vacuums there, and the cords were cut. It was a real shame too, because one of the vacuums was an Oric, and it looked like it was in decent shape, and I would have picked it up if the cord hadn't have been cut. But what you gonna do? Mark Covington's here. Mark said earlier today, Best Buy got me a selfie stick for $8.99 plus tax. Hey, That means I'm going to hold you to doing some more YouTube videos, Mark. You got to put yourself out there a little bit more. I was actually watching some of your content, the stuff you did a few years ago. Hey, you know what? Do it, man. Put some more videos out there. And even if they're not edited videos, do some live streams. Hey, love doing the live streams. Paul Kane goes, when we bought our Sharp flat screen, we bought a Panasonic Blu-ray. It would glitch out every now and then, and I finally found a Pioneer Elite Blu-ray that works awesome. Yeah, anything Pioneer, anything in their Elite category is really, really good quality stuff. That's like the home theater grade products. As for the Panasonic Blu-ray player, I would look at upgrading the firmware. Sometimes they'll do that if they're outdated. A couple ways you can do that. If it's a smart Blu-ray player, you can just hook it up to the internet, either wired or wireless, which most of them are. And then you can just go into the menu system, and there's usually a system update section in there. If it's an older one, like one of the early Sony Blu-ray players like I have downstairs, you actually go to the website, type in the model number, you download the file, and it's an image file, an ISO, and you burn that ISO to a CD or a DVD, and then it's really cool. You put the CD or the DVD, whichever one it tells you to use, that you burned into the player, and it just takes it from there. It takes maybe like 20 or 30 minutes, and it copies the firmware that way from the actual optical media. I've seen it. I've done it a few times. I always found that really cool the way Sony did that. And the reason they did that was because the old Blu-ray players were not smart Blu-ray players. In other words, there was no way to connect these. These are before they had them. So basically, there's no way to connect it to the internet. It's pretty much just like a DVD player. But I find they actually played a little bit better. The newer ones, the actual drive mechanisms they have in them, are total garbage. They don't last at all. And I don't know why. I hope I didn't gain any weight because my belt is a little tight today. Though I have to say, I don't think I have because I got on the scale earlier and I'm still like around 223, 224. And I was really good today. You guys would have been proud of me. I went to our local Thai food restaurant, and I usually get the jasmine fried rice, which I did get this time, but I usually get it with chicken and vegetables. This time I opted for no chicken, just vegetables and tofu. So I basically had a meatless lunch. Well, I did have the wonton soup, which has chicken in it. But for the main meal, I went meatless today, and I actually did not miss having the meat in there at all. The tofu was actually really, really good. And I think I'm going to do that the next time I go there. This is actually the second time I've been there that I got the jasmine fried rice dish with the tofu instead of the chicken in. Oh, so good. Mr. Jimmy's here says, I went to a secondhand store today, picked up a Ape Tech camcorder. Oh, I remember those for 15 New Zealand dollars in great condition. 5 megapixel record 720 by 480 or 640 by 480 and can play MP3s. Yeah, those were MPEG-4 files. I remember that. It also did ASF. Okay, yeah, I guess it did. A good friend of mine had a bunch of those. They were all the rage back in the early 2000s. Keep it. That's going to be a collector's item for sure. Jonathan Griddle said, swap to Crest Charcoal toothpaste over the Colgate brand. I hate Colgate toothpaste. I was surprised with the outcome of charcoal. Really cleaned my teeth. Yeah, I got to try something different. Being a coffee drinker, my teeth are always stained. They've gotten a little bit better. I've actually started using Pepsodent, the old toothpaste that smokers used to use, because they would, of course, get the yellowing of the teeth too. You can also use like baking soda and things. But honestly, I really don't care that much. I know people are so vain about having super white teeth. You really don't need, your teeth can be healthy and still be stained, honestly. And it's better not to use that whitening paste that people get, like the Crest whitening strips or the paste, because that can actually damage and remove the enamel. Believe it or not, people that have the super white teeth that have had their teeth whitened actually can have worse and less strong teeth than people who have the teeth that are stained. It's true. It's absolutely true. Dabbler's Buffet. Have you heard of the Canadian rock band called Chilwack? No, I haven't. They had some hits from the 80s like My Girl, Gone, Gone, Gone. I Believe in What You Gonna Do. No, I haven't. No. My favorite, but I will tell you, my favorite all-time Canadian music group is Crash Test Dummies from the early to mid 90s. God Shuffled His Feet, one of my favorite albums. And they actually, fun fact, they actually did a original song for Dumb and Dumber called Peter Pumpkinhead. If you've never heard it, search for Crash Test Dummies, Dumb and Dumber, Peter Pumpkinhead, something like that. It was a really, really good song. Excuse me. Don Brody asks, "Hey Matt, any disk read errors on the Wii's you find?" It's fortuitous. There's a word for today, fortuitous, that you asked that, because I actually just pulled the two Wii's out that I got probably about 2 or 3 weeks ago. They had been sitting over there. If I turn the camera, you guys can see them right there. There's one right there, and then there's one right over there by the computer. And I spent about an hour last night testing them both, and I tested quite a few different games that I had with them, and they both work fine. No disk read errors, no weird sounds, no problems with the buttons or anything. The only thing I was really disappointed about was they each came with, well, one of them came with 3 remotes, the other one came with 4. So I had plenty of remotes, but unfortunately, one of them, the batteries, the AA batteries had exploded, and it had gotten to the point where I just couldn't save the remote. It had been sitting in there too long, and all the contacts had decayed to the point where I just couldn't save it. But the other ones were fine. A few of the other remotes also had the battery starting to leak, but I was able to get all the dried battery acid off, basically just with a Clorox wet wipe. Reviews for Noobs asks, Matt, do you know why my USB Wi-Fi would be randomly dying? Could be like 10 minutes, or it could be 5 hours, and then it will die and then reconnect. It's random. Yes, chances are you're having interference somewhere, especially if it's random like that. You got to remember there's a finite amount of channels when it comes to Wi-Fi, and it depends on the bandwidth. There's the 2.4 gigahertz bandwidth and the 5.8 gigahertz bandwidth. Most people run off the older 2.4 gigahertz bandwidth, which has even less free channels. If you have multiple devices in your house that run Wi-Fi, then yes, you can randomly get kicked off the Wi-Fi that way. My recommendation to you would be to start with your router. If it's an older router, upgrade it, especially if it's one that only runs at that 2.4 gigahertz bandwidth. Go ahead and replace it with one that'll run at both the 2.4 gigahertz and 5.8 gigahertz. If that doesn't work for you, then I would go and look at maybe just replacing your Wi-Fi adapter or getting a better Wi-Fi adapter. And you can actually try that first too. It's going to be cheaper to get a new Wi-Fi adapter, so you may want to go ahead and try that out first. And also, you may want to think about getting a actual computer tech in there to assess the situation. I'm giving you my thoughts on it, but without actually seeing it and being able to diagnose the problem at this point, I'm just kind of shooting in the dark. But I am giving you my vast years of experience. Ooh. Tell you, I feel bloated tonight, everybody, and I haven't been eating much either. Tom Wild is here. Said, "Hey Matt, finally caught a live stream this week. Yes, you have. That's nice. It's good. It's good to see different people." Oh my goodness, I am so tired of this dry throat. It's driving me crazy. Don Brody said, "Hey Matt, I got an Onkyo single cassette deck for $8 at the thrift store. Now that's a score. If it's a Onkyo single cassette deck, believe it or not, those are actually the higher end cassette decks generally than the dual ones are. So it doesn't even almost don't even matter what model it is. You definitely scored. One thing I want to show you guys today. I did go to thrift stores, got a lot of the usual stuff, but I did find a few items that I want to show you. And you can probably see right through the bag as to what they are. I won't pull them all out, but I went to the Goodwill, not a distribution, it's called a retail center now, in Hampton. And I went into the section where they have the bulk items, where they bring them out in totes, and you got to scrounge through all the totes to find things. Boy, did I score. Check this out. Bewitched, the collector's edition. These are old Columbia House distributions from 1993. The really cool part is these are factory sealed. These tapes have never been opened. They're 27 years old now. Whoever bought them never opened them. Now, granted, some of these, the shrink wrap is decayed, but I still think it's cool that these things were never opened. And they're various episodes, but generally it looks like they're from the first and second seasons. This particular one actually has the first 4 episodes, which are really cool. I'll probably be watching this later on tonight. You know what? Let's open one. Let's see what they look like. Now, I don't expect these will be easy to open, mainly because they've been on there for so long. 1993, breathing 1993 sealed air. There we go. Oh, so satisfying. These are actually really good quality too. I'm surprised these were consumer ones. Well, judging by the case, I would have said that these were maybe ordered by something like a library or maybe a video rental store back in the day, just by looking at the case. Let's open it up. Ooh, check that out. Approximately 102 minutes. Little bit of dust in there. You notice the dust at the bottom there, which goes to show that the seal was probably broken on these, but what do you expect for the age? One thing that looks good is the sticker in the middle. The label is not peeling, so not a lot of air had gotten in there. A lot of times with older tapes like that, the glue will start to break down and the labels will just peel off. Interesting, there's actually a little scratch. You see the scratch on the bottom right there? Not that that'll affect it, but probably did it at the house where they were recording these. Boy, I'm going to need a break from these live streams. Try to let that water coat my throat a little bit. Paul Kane goes, whistling the theme right now. Oh, yeah. Okay. No more whistling. Tom Wild goes, I always have a spoonful of thick honey when I get a cough. Works wonders. Yeah, that or lemon usually. I usually like to use lemon. A lot less sugar. Yeah, I liked Happy Days. I haven't seen it in a long time. Used to play it on TV Land back in the 90s, the reruns on TV Land back in the 90s and early 2000s. Ah, man, I am so sorry, guys. I know you guys don't want to hear me do that, but really nothing I can do about it right now. Don Brody says, "Hey Matt, if you ever make if I ever make it to Virginia, we'll have to do an epic thrift store haul. That would be nice. I would love to have a thrift store buddy. I go sometimes with my buddy Jeff and a few other people, but for the most part, they never really want to do it on a regular basis. So yeah, I'm up for that. Hit me up for sure." Paul King goes, "All this water chugging is making me thirsty." Nothing wrong with drinking water. I'm telling you, it's the best thing you can do for yourself. Cleanses the body, rehydrates the body. Jonathan Grindle asks, Matt, did you ever sell the HP Mini PC from the home theater? No, that's still sitting downstairs. Haven't done anything with that. Yes, I did. Yes, Sonic Wang. I did see the Weezer Buddy Holly music video, the one where they're in Arnold's and they're up on the stage and they're playing guitar and dancing. That was a good one. Yeah. When I first saw that, I was confused. I'm like, wow, did Weezer were they ever actually on Happy Days? And then I realized it was just an illusion. It was a photo or a video effect. Just to let you guys know, I'm cutting this off in about 4 minutes because I'm literally about to bust a lung. It's getting that bad. Yes, I will. I will do a room tour. I don't know when. I'll try to do it as soon as I can, but right now my room is a little bit of a mess. I gotta put the table away. I gotta list the Wii's for sale on either whatever Craigslist, OfferUp, whatever I think they'll sell, because I gotta sell those. And once that's done, yes, I will go ahead and get to the room tour. All right, tubers, I am so sorry. I need to end it here because I am literally about to lose my voice again. Live streams are probably going to come more sporadically for a while, but I will try to do them. Hope you guys are doing great. Don Brody wants to know if I own a Keurig. Yes, I own about 5 of them, honestly. All right, tubers, that's it. Please continue to like and subscribe. And as always, have a blessed day, everybody.